Welcome everyone to Real Talk with My Homies. I'm your host, Jake Wardrop, licensed realtor with Homepage Realty in Louisville, Kentucky. Today I'm joined by my catcher from college, Nick Jewell. As some of you know, I did play collegiate baseball here locally at Spalding University. Nick was my catcher as, I believe, our freshman year.
Yep.
Nick transferred out freshman year and actually went into becoming an Air Force Special Operator, combat controller, a veteran, and is now an entrepreneur and multi-unit Crumbl franchise. Nick kind of disappeared after college. I think is a fair way to assess it. Now we know why. Nick went into the military and obviously cannot have a massive life on social media doing what he did. So, Nick, I appreciate you coming in today. How are we?
Good. Good to see you.
Awesome. Today's podcast is brought to you by Ryan Dennigan with Equity Resources Mortgage. Whether you are looking to purchase or refinance a primary residence, second home, or investment property in Kentucky or Indiana, Ryan and his team are ready to assist you and guide you through a quick and smooth process to ensure you always close on time. You can reach him at 502-759-1406. Equity Resources Incorporated, NMLS 1579 is an equal opportunity lender. Ryan Dennigan, NMLS 1447385, located at 400 Techney Center Drive in Milford, Ohio. Nick, today is May 24th. It is about to be Memorial Day weekend. Pools are getting ready to get opened. Do you have a pool?
I do.
Is it open?
It's already open.
Is it warm?
Yeah, the kids are already.
Nice. Yeah, we opened ours last Monday, and within a couple of days, it was ready to roll. Oh, yeah. It was warm. It was good. I tried messing with the solar cover. Never doing that again.
Oh, yeah.
That was the worst thing ever. I tried, I don't know if maybe you're supposed to do it with two people or what, but I did it with one person, and it took me like 30 minutes. And then I went inside. I came back an hour later to see just kind of what it was looking like. And I guess you're supposed to turn off the pump. I might get crushed by the pool people, but I think you're supposed to turn off the pump because the water's circulating. We've got an above ground round pool, and it was all just like twisted around. Yeah. The stairs were stopping it. Like only half the pool was covered. It was a nightmare. So we're just going to rely on Mother Nature moving forward to keep her warm.
I don't blame you. It's been raining enough and warm rain that it actually is not too bad.
No, not at all. It's my sister-in-law's in town, and she brought her two sons and her daughter. So my two nephews and their niece, and they've been in it every chance they got. I think they went in it 3 times, like the first day they got there.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. And then they sleep well.
Oh yeah. Except for my daughter. She still wakes up at 6 a.m. for some reason. Even if she's out up till 10, 11 o'clock, she's still up at 6. Once the sun's up, she's up. So today is, like I said, May 24th. New segment that it's not really a new segment at this point. Famous birthdays. Let's see what we know about each of the famous people born today. Excuse me. Bob Dylan, musician. A little too old for me. Good music, though, I'm assuming. Julius Caesar. Tommy Chong. Another good one. The cousin of the greatest NBA dunker of all time, Tracy McGrady.
Yeah.
His cousin's Vince Carter, if you didn't know. And John C. Reilly, actor.
Don't know that one.
Yeah, you do. He's in Talladega Nights.
Okay.
Yeah. He was in a bunch of Will Ferrell movies. So, you'll know who he is if you saw him.
Yeah.
All right. Our cookies are here. Jeff, can you open the door? We have a gift from Nick, which we will get into in a minute. So next ad read is today's podcast also brought to you by Black Diamond Pest Control. With over 80 years of experience serving Southern Indiana, Black Diamond is committed to providing the highest quality pest control with unparalleled customer service. From their flagship headquarters in Jeffersonville, Indiana, to their expanding locations across Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, and Tennessee, Black Diamond has become one of the largest pest control offices in the country. As a proud member of the National Pest Management Association, Black Diamond has received numerous awards for their exceptional service. They are dedicated and eager to assist you with their pest control needs. Contact them directly at marketing@meddpest.com. So we want to say thank you to Bright Pest Control. I'm sorry, not Bright. Gosh, Jeff, cut that out, please. Black Diamond, Black Diamond Pest Control, for their sponsorship. So thank you, Black Diamond. So Nick, obviously I do real estate. You have some rental properties, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Where are they located?
Yeah.
What do we have?
So still have a few. We sold a bunch of them, market, kind of where it's been at. And it's kind of how we got to Crumbl to start with, was we had extra rentals. We were selling some of them, and we were looking for the next investment. Mm-hmm. Of course, the gains and returns in real estate aren't what they were a year or two ago.
Yeah.
So that's why we're looking to franchising, try to expand, and we can get into that.
Yep.
Cash flow versus your equity in things and your net worth and how to grow that. But yeah, so we got 3 still. We got 1 in Glasgow, 2 here in Louisville. And we're down to 3.
Tenants in all of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tenants. Everything's been good. Had the same tenants in a few years now, which has been nice. Mm-hmm. High turnover. We had some properties over in the Portland area, sold those. I sold the last one of those back in January of this year. But kind of wanted to get out of that area, but it also had a big boom too. The pricing from when we bought them to now was a really good return on that investment.
When did you buy them?
So I bought the first one in 2016 time frame, and then had that and kept it till this year. It was our first one we bought. And then we had a triplex over in the part of Louisville, over in the Highlands area, actually real close to your
Okay, cool.
Parkway.
Yep.
Big triplex. Had a good success with that, and then we ended up selling it, and that's what kind of led us into franchising, looking at different options in the business realm.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into the Crumbl stuff in a little bit. As far as being a landlord, what do you're on the front lines?
Yeah.
As a landlord, do you use a property management company?
So we did. We don't anymore. The ones we've got now is kind of do ourselves or with our realtors.
Mm-hmm.
And at first we did. There's the pros and cons. That one, we were gone a lot with being in the military, being at different day jobs throughout. That was all government jobs.
Uh-oh, we lost our background.
Pause.
Keep going.
And so being gone a lot, not being in the area, like it's good to come home and check on it. There's nothing that's ever passive, as we all know, that's truly passive.
Yeah.
Try and do it right. So we did have a property management company. It does really, especially at the beginning, slow you down.
Mm-hmm.
It slows you down on your cash flow with your properties. And then, that leads to not being able to expand as fast. So
Yeah.
there's definitely pros and cons to everything. I think doing it all yourself is a good place to start, because then you know what to look for. If you just immediately get into it, hand off to property management companies, you're going to lose money.
Yeah.
And they're running the business. So, they're going to nickel and dime you. They're going to.
Yeah. What, as far as being what are some tax advantages that you've seen firsthand, or advantages in general, just as being a landlord?
Yeah, so the advantages of it, one, if you get a good tenant, keep the tenant, I haven't raised rent on the properties really since we started.
Yeah.
They're kind of grooving. I don't want to push them out, and they're good tenants.
We had a similar conversation with Ryan Cecil, another realtor. She had her first investment property purchased this year, and said the same. We had the same 2 cents. If you've got a great tenant, why keep raising? Yeah, $100 is great if you can get it, but why? Why?
Yeah, if they send your repair rate up or other things, you're better off to keep your good tenants, keep them in place. And then, kind of the advantages to it, we kind of saw one, on the tax side of things, right? Which is a great thing. I think most people look at it's just to make more money. Well, it's saving you so much on taxes and different advantages on it too. If you have a loan on it, you can write off the interest, you can write off the repairs, you can write off construction if you would go and modify the property and do certain things to it. There's so many tax advantages to that. And then you get the market appreciation. Right now it's not going to be as heavy, but, we'll see what the years bring. But history will repeat itself. It's going to continue to go up.
Yeah. So as a landlord, do you look for anything specific on what you're looking for an investment property? Are you looking for anything specific, or if anyone's listening to this and they've got something that they're looking to offload potentially, what are you as an investor looking for?
Yeah, so if I'm just getting into where I started, I would say, find a property that kind of meets your investment that you've got. Not everybody's got hundreds of thousands or $1 million laying around to just go take a risk, and if it doesn't work out, they're fine.
Yeah.
Right? Most people are trying to get into this, are listening and trying to learn. They're in a normal 9-to-5 job. Maybe they have 2 jobs. They've got some money saved up. Maybe they've got, 15, 20 grand, and that's what they got, right? And putting that at risk, like you can go into a bad property and you can lose it all really
very
quick.
quickly. Yeah.
I would say go with that. There's properties out there. You don't have to have a $600,000 quadplex start out. I started out, and Josh, my brother, he does everything with me too. We started out in a $50,000 house, and we had 10 grand.
Yeah.
We're mid-20s, and luckily we had each other, so we were able to live together, kind of, save money and go into a property. And, I think we spent like $12,000 getting into that property with a, 25% investment loan, all these things. Probably better tactics to start out. It's how we did it worked, right? So we got into that, started there, and then we got into a triplex, and we got into some other single-family homes. And it takes time. So that's my big thing is, go with what you're kind of looking. You got to start somewhere. Not everybody's got a different situation. So start out what you can do and then learn, because until you do it, you're going to have the fear of it. You're going to, you're not going to know exactly what to do. But after a year of owning a rental property, you're going to figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah. So something a little more lighthearted outside of investment properties and the stress of owning property. You own a couple Crumbl franchises.
Yep.
Where are they located again?
So we've got Jeffersonville, Indiana, Elizabethtown, Kentucky, just opened up a little over a month ago. We've got getting ready to acquire another one here in Louisville, and then we've got 2 more to build. And then
When you've got the 2 more to build, have the locations already determined, or you have the rights to build 2 more?
Yeah, locations determined and the rights in that location. So we've got, the PRP Valley Station area that we're getting 1 and 2, and then Georgetown, Kentucky will be the next one. Right now it's just finding find the best locations possible. We take our time on them, and that has benefited us more, take our time in finding good locations.
And you lease the space, you don't own it?
Yeah, I could go both ways on that. I think if you can own the space, it's much better for many, many different reasons. If you got the money to do it about the building, if somebody else sell it to you, most of the time they're not going to sell it to you.
Yeah,
they've got if it's leased out and it's in a good location, like they're doing well, they're not getting rid of that thing. But yeah, if anytime you franchise something, if you can own the building, you're way better off long term. And that's what we're looking for at our next build locations, is actually owning the building with the franchise going in. So
gotcha. So why? There are 500 that I can think of off the top of my head. Franchise opportunities, do this, do that. Why Crumbl?
Crumbl. So I walked into a Crumbl with the kids. They were excited about it. It was, viral on TikTok and YouTube and all this stuff. So we walked into one. It was real early on. It was, 3.5 years ago or 4. And it was just such a unique concept, right? And then when you kind of look at it, look at the mission statement, bringing friends and family together over the best box of cookies in the world. It's kind of like, all right, I can stand behind that mission statement.
That's a pretty easy one to stand behind.
As a dad, a family guy, I love people. I'm like, man, this is cool. And then you get in there, you see the tech side of things kind of going on up front. And until you own the franchise, wouldn't believe how much tech they have behind that thing. I was like, man, this is like an Apple store that sells cookies almost. And, I went and put in for it, and I was like, hey, we'll see. That the customer base, looked at, Middletown and other places. Like, man, the customer base is good. People love it, and I loved it, right? And the kids loved it. And I was like, man, let's just see. Worst case, they say no, right? And I've always looked at franchising. We looked at car washes. We looked at a lot of things business-wise before we got into real estate. Yeah. And then this kind of fell in our lap. And then I was like, all right, put in for it. Then about 2 months later, Crumbl hit something like, hey, it's, you're what we're looking for in a franchisee. And then we went through a big interview process for about 2 or 3 months with them, and background checks. And
so what kind of stuff do they ask you? Is it more like what type of person are you, or what kind of business operator are you? What are they looking for?
Yeah, I think Crumbl's done a great job, and most of the franchises do, your big national brands. That they're looking to make sure that they get a franchisee that's going to fit them, and then they also fit you, right? And so they're trying to find the best candidates possible, because they're trusting you with their product, right? With their quality, with what they built, especially the founders of it. They're looking for you to take it and do the same thing they're doing, and be a good owner operator of the store. And that's I'm sure that you don't bat, 1,000. So they probably get some wrong. I thought we were a good fit. We were looking for some changes in the business and day jobs and everything. So that worked out for us really well. And once we did the interviews, got to know them, they got to know us. It was real synergy there. Mm-hmm. So that's all we went with that. And then we've had fun with it. I never thought I'd own pink bakeries, as another business model, but because we had another business before that doing government contracts and stuff called Special Operations Supply. So did a lot of stuff with that through COVID. Still do a little bit now, but
so you were able to you kind of had some processes in place as far as supply chains and being able to source what you needed to.
Yeah, and I think a little bit the business understanding and real estate helped that first and foremost, right? Like when you really think about it's the best first business to get into because you're learning all these things, right? Books and you're learning, cash flow and all. It's an easier concept learn than you take it to a bigger business and you don't have all this overhead.
Yeah.
And franchising, you have a lot of overhead. You have a lot of employees. We have all probably getting close to 100 employees now. And once you have that, you have so many people to make sure payroll's done for and everything's done correctly on the back end. Changes the game a little bit.
So what's a day in the life look like for you then as an owner? I mean, you're not going into every store every day, I'm assuming.
No, we try to as much as possible. I think we're really hands-on, but we care, right? We care about our investments. We care about what we're doing. The first and foremost, having a good management team is, a lifesaver. So.
Yeah, and that was kind of what I was getting at, is you kind of want to make sure that the staff is, trust people to hire people to do a job and then trust them to do the job.
Yeah, absolutely. And it takes a while to train them. Like we just opened our Elizabethtown store a month ago yesterday. And, we spend most of our time down there. We're down there every day.
Well, you got to create a culture.
We create a culture, 1. 2, you're standing behind your staff, your management team that you've got in place. And you're not leaving them alone. It takes a while to learn all this stuff. And so we're down there every day. We'll work all day this weekend. Ravens being a warrior through the day and then going down there and spending 12 hours a day on a Saturday down there or at night. But it's just getting that set to make sure everybody's trained. And then, of course, it's franchising and different kind of industry. You have a lot of turnover at the beginning of a new store. People may come and have different expectations of what a bakery, a Crumbl is supposed to be, especially they've never seen one before. And they're like, whoa, this is high speed. I want it more relaxed. And so you're constantly training people. And then after about 2 months, you get your core group set and then it just flows, And then our other store, right now in Jeffersonville, have a great manager in place. I don't have to worry about anything. We talk to her every day. She calls if there's a problem and we fix it. And it's just, it shouldn't be hands off because it shouldn't be passive because if you're not watching it, something will mess up.
Yep.
After a while, the curve just gets, they're just knocking out of the park, They don't need you anymore. You're almost in their way, which is good. You've done your job if you're in their way.
That's a good thing is, I think sometimes as an owner and operator, it's tough to just take maybe a small step back and allow the people, because it's a huge financial risk. They're handling your financial investment.
Absolutely. And people don't care to spend money that's not theirs. And I mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
They don't look at it the way you look at it.
Yeah. Like even the best, I back in my previous life, I ran gyms for 8 years.
Yeah.
And the last 4, I was the main guy. I was the top, I was the general manager of the whole facility. So, I tried to spend the money like it was mine, but it wasn't. So there's maybe that second or third thought of, should I spend this? Doesn't happen because it wasn't. It was, hey, the club needs this. We're going to make money because of it. We got to get it.
Yeah.
And that was a huge kind of eye-opening experience because I was able to see the financials every month, do a full review. What are we spending money on? Where do we need to cut back? And just gym industry, for anyone that didn't know, the gym industry margins are very slim. It is 2 bad months and you're running skeleton shifts trying to figure out how we're going to make more money. So you're always constantly evaluating the financials, trying to figure out what, because gym equipment's not cheap.
No.
Barbells are not cheap. Dumbbells are not cheap. Dumbbells break all the time. It costs more to ship a dumbbell than it does to buy the dumbbell.
Yep.
So if you're a local company and you just have to start making dumbbells, you can make a killing because every gym in this region will drive to you to come pick them up. So moving on from the Crumbl stuff, I know that you spent time in the military. Where were you deployed to? Where did you go to school at? How did that whole unfold?
Yeah, so after college, so I looked around and I heard about I don't know if I saw a commercial. I heard it from a buddy. I was down in Bowling Green about Air Force, special operations.
Mm-hmm.
My family comes background, and I was like, well, that's kind of sounds interesting. So there's this entry test you have to do. It's like a
physical or
it's a physical,
educational.
It's physical.
Okay,
and it's it's like a 500-meter swim, a mile and a half. Right? I had no idea how to swim. I mean, we grew up jumping in our pool or into a pond or something.
Yeah,
I didn't know how to actually swim. So I remember the first time ever taking that thing. I completely bombed it. It was terrible. But I was like, oh, it's only 500 meters. I can do that. It's a different story when you. Other swimmers right now.
I say the same thing at 5Ks. Yeah, I could go out and do that. And I couldn't.
I got this. And when you put everything together, like 500 meters is not very far now. That years later, because I know how I'm doing. But the funny part was then it didn't look big until you went and did it. And you're like, oh, stretching this all together, and then you have calisthenics and everything. So bombed it the first time, but end up passing, getting in the military, and then the pipeline. That's what they call it. It's about 3 years long to get through the pipeline.
And you went right into the Air Force, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right in, and then had a 3-year thing with basic, and then ended up going through selection course. Got through that, and then you start going through your more technical schools, the way jump school and combat dive school, all these things. So it was fun. It was a very good experience. Sometimes you're like, I don't know if I want to make this thing because it's tough. It's designed to challenge you.
Yeah. I mean, we want the toughest of the toughest defending our country. So,
and I think, me too, I hit that perfect window of peaking when I was young, right? So I was like 20 years old, 21, and I was starting to peak athletically. Mm-hmm. Didn't know how to swim, but now I can swim 10,000, meters and no problem. Like I can do, I can run 10 miles and it's easy, right? At this point, but you're training for it. And I spent about a year and a half just training, getting ready for it, and doing everything. My days revolved around it, though. I was up at 5 a.m. and going to the pool, and that's why I spent hours there trying to learn stuff, figure it out, and that's what I wanted to do. So, I spent 11 years doing that and went all over with it. So it was a good experience.
Yeah. What was the coolest place that you went?
Coolest. Like fun or?
I mean,
there's been some fun places.
That's a sliding scale. Depends on who you're asking.
Yeah, so I don't know. I've been all over. There's different, without going into a ton.
Yeah.
But kind of what combat controllers do, what I did, is for anybody's listening, maybe one person who's like, oh, I want to look at something like that. Combat controllers attached to either a SEAL team or a Special Forces team. And majority of combat controllers, probably 95%, go through a JTAC school, Joint Terminal Attack Controller. So you attach them as kind of a jack of all trades, and you're really good with radios, and you're really good at air traffic control and setting up stacks of aircraft to kind of come into, austere environments, wartime scenarios. You'll have 12 aircraft above your head. So you're on the ground, you're with your team, you've got 12 aircraft you're controlling in a stack. And then if you're in a fight, it's very easy to start deploying them from the sky. And it's a team effort, right? Because you've got the best pilots in the world. You've got yourself on the ground. You're locating targets. And your job's really to, mitigate risk. Like big time, get the aircrafts on target, and then you're on the ground with your team doing what you do. So it's kind of funny. I always said I'm not very good at multitasking, but during those scenarios, I can multitask for some reason.
Well, I think, not to put words in your mouth, but the military does such a good job of breaking you down to build you back up the way they want you, that to you, as seeing it as multitasking, it's not really multitasking. You're doing your job. Like this, like you can do this in your sleep. They've trained you so well that you've been there before, even though you haven't been there before. If that makes sense.
You've done it so many times that, and that's the thing about, I think, special operations in general. I wasn't at the highest level. There's people at the highest level of that. They are the experts at fundamentals. Like everybody operators are just excellent at fundamentals. Like they drill it over and over and over, shooting rounds, doing anything, jumping. You're an expert at the little things, and that's what makes you great. And I think you say the same thing in sports, right? Having the fundamentals perfect, being an expert at it will make you great. But yeah, and then, on the combat control side, we have humanitarian side too, where we go through air traffic control school and you're able to go down like hurricanes. So anytime there's hurricanes or disasters and stuff, you'll see PJ and combat controls from the guard units. And we actually have them here in Kentucky. A lot of people don't know that. And they'll deploy down and go do rescues and set up helicopter landing zones for the Coast Guard medevacs, and they're doing all kinds of stuff as guards.
So they're kind of like the coach of the whole situation down there. Then I guess they're allocating resources. They're telling this guy to go there, this guy go here, this do this, you do that.
Yeah, from the command level, I was never there, so I don't know what our commander had to deal with at the state level. On down to team level, your officer, your OIC, it's kind of directing you off of what the state's telling you to do. And then when you get plugged in, because you are going to a different state, normally their state leadership are telling you kind of where they need you. At first, disasters, it's a little chaos, right? Yeah. Anyone I've ever been to. And it takes a while to get set, so you're just kind of doing your own thing for a second, and then it kind of builds out, and everybody's got their taskings. But they can do some amazing stuff, especially PJs, right? They got the medical side of that thing, so you've got a paramedic on the ground with you that can do different things and rappel and rescue people, and the controllers can assist with that as well during those mission sets.
Yeah. So one last question, we'll get you out of here because I know your time is valuable and you got to get to E-Town to go check on a cookie store.
Make sure it's right.
Yes, make sure that the doors got open today. What is, in your opinion, the most realistic TV series or movie of what war or overseas or battle or, pick your input is really like?
I mean, Top Gun? No, I'm just kidding. Let me think about that. I mean, there's a lot of them, right? But it is Hollywood.
Yeah, they're going to Hollywood the hell out of it.
Like, the explosion factor, like, it's not as big. And I mean that, like, it is big, but it's not as fireball-y.
Yeah, when I was thinking about this question, I saw someone say in the comments, Hacksaw Ridge, which is...
I haven't seen Hacksaw
I think that's a true story, actually.
Yeah.
It's got Andrew Garfield where he's, I guess, becomes a medic.
Yeah.
Somebody had said that. I'm not saying that because I was never in war.
Yeah. I think the context of a lot of the movies and TV series and stuff, I think there's like the Navy SEAL show or whatever, people got into that for a long time.
What, SEAL Team?
SEAL Team
on CBS?
Yeah.
I think there's a show called SEAL Team on TBS.
I don't know. So I've never really watched that one either.
Yeah.
But I think the context, they're like what they're trying to do, because they do get, SEALs to come in on that show and say, hey, this is kind of how it goes. So the realistic factor, I think the explosions are just a little too big. Mm-hmm. But I think the storylines are pretty accurate. There'll be war come out from, Afghanistan, Iraq over the years. Just to see the story of different people, and there's hard men out there. I mean it, like some of the stuff that dudes go through, and, we have a Medal of Honor recipient on the combat control side, John Chapman. That's actually one of the reasons I got in is I read a book, I think it's called The Battle of Takugar, and it's crazy. One of the PJs we served with, too, like the story of that's crazy. Mm-hmm. John Chapman did some amazing things, like he was by himself, and you can see drone footage and things of it now that you're just like, this dude's by himself, just getting it. And, you think you've had bad days, and you see stuff, and you're like, I had a bad day.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's plug the Crumbl stores one more time. If you know the addresses, and hopefully let's get some people through the doors.
On the spot, on the cover, I'm going to put all the addresses.
That's all right. We all have Google.
We got Jeffersonville.
Yeah, we all have Google.
We got Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Come to PRP Valley and Georgetown, Kentucky, and then other franchisees around here. We've got Fern Creek's got a store in St. Matthews, and Middletown and Paddock.
So the PRP Valley Station store will be yours.
Yeah.
Do they know? Does Valley and PRP know that you're coming?
I don't know. I think
is this the official announcement?
Like Julie and Ryan put some word out, but no, we're definitely looking there. It's just the spot. We've been looking for about a year, trying to figure out the best spot to put it there. I haven't really found anything yet. We're still looking, and then Georgetown's just kind of getting off the ground on that one. But we're excited. We're excited to get over that. There's the closest ones, like I think here in Fern Creek area. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, that's pretty far away from PRP. People be getting some delicious goods.
Yeah. I mean, people will travel for the right thing. There's certain pizza places that are on Dixie that people will travel to. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Bonnie and Clyde's Pizza is the first thing that comes to my mind, that people will travel from the East End to go have. You know, I don't know. I don't know how far I would drive for a cookie.
Yeah, but you can get them delivered too. That's why we got to go over there, right? Get delivered, and they'll be next.
Those are Crumbl close to me, so I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah,
the Fern Creek one's not far.
That's about close to both of us.
So, but yeah, we've got some Crumbl cookies actually. They came midway through, so we will. That's all right. It's all right. Your delivery guy looks super nice. Let's take a look at these so that we can get live reaction. Those are enormous.
Delicious.
Let's get those on camera.
That new Rice Krispies.
God, I hope that worked. Well, you are not going to leave empty-handed because we regift something to every
cookies.
No. I regift something to everybody that comes on the podcast. This was something that I attained around the same time that we knew each other. So went through my collection. Got an old baseball from back when we played.
Ooh, did this have a pickoff?
No. I don't know. Maybe it may have. I don't know if I would have kept that, but just something to say thank you for your time. I appreciate you being here, and I'm really glad that we reconnected. I guess about a month ago, when I just randomly saw a picture of you on Facebook, and I was like, "Hey, I know that guy."
Right.
And we hadn't talked in a while, so it was awesome to reconnect then and reconnect even more now. So again, thank you for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate your time, man.
Yes, sir.
All righty.